Welcome to the AJ Sports Show. This is the second episode of the 2025 football season of college and the NFL. And without any further delay, let's discuss the Week 3 college football games. Then we'll, of course, do a little quick review of NFL Week 2, and then we'll preview some of the big matchups of the football season. And then I'll get to a little bit of the baseball because baseball season's winding down. 2 more weeks to go until we get to October baseball, which is peak baseball at any point of the baseball seasons. All right, let's preview some of these games real quick. All right, college football's Week 3. Indiana blows out Indiana State, 73-0. Oklahoma beats Temple. They did what they had to do, beating them 42-3. Ohio State beats Ohio 37-9. Penn State blows out Villanova. Oregon beats Northwestern. Miami crushes South Florida. LSU struggles against Florida. Florida, DJ Lagway threw 5 picks. And, yeah. When you throw 5 interceptions, basically you turn the ball over 5 times, it's hard to win. And LSU didn't play good either. It's just Florida was garbage. Let's get to the early potential college game of the year. It's up there. It's obviously early. There's a lot more college football left. But right now, game of the year goes to Georgia and Tennessee. This game was a shootout. The first quarter, Tennessee's offense marched right up and down the field without a problem. And then Georgia kind of closed the gap in the second quarter. It was 21-17 at halftime. Georgia strikes, and then Tennessee would strike back late in the fourth quarter. And then the fourth quarter becomes continues the shootout. Georgia kicks the field goal to go up by 2. Tennessee scores another touchdown. Tennessee forces a fumble. Then they're up by 8. Georgia gets the touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And Tennessee drove for a potential game-winning field goal, but the kicker missed. Max Gilbert. He's gonna. Yeah, he's having a very bad day. And then in the overtime, he does redeem himself and kick the field goal, but that redemption ended up not mattering because Georgia scored on their first drive of overtime. Both quarterbacks played pretty well this game. Gunnar Stockton played the best game of his career up to this point. Joey Aguilar, who's been really good for Tennessee, played good, just those 2 turnovers doesn't help. And just got outgunned. It was one of those games where a key moment could impact the game, and for Tennessee, it was that missed field goal. With 3 seconds left. And that missed field goal hurt. Georgia gets a big win in Knoxville, and Tennessee still hasn't beat them since 2016. Texas beats UTEP, although they didn't look good doing it. Texas A&M Notre Dame. This was another shootout. My nose is bothering me while I'm recording this. Go figure. This game was another shootout. Back and forth. Notre Dame strikes first. A&M answers. Notre Dame punches back. A&M counter punches. It was 28-24 at half. It was back and forth. And then in the third quarter, A&M kind of gets it tied. Notre Dame would score. So it's 31-31 at the end of the third. Notre Dame, in their last drive, gets a touchdown. However, they decided to go for the 2-point conversion. I don't get it. I never understood it. They failed, and Texas A&M's defense had a very late drive, and they were able to score within 13 seconds left in the game. And that 2-point conversion ended up haunting Notre Dame because all Texas A&M had to do was kick the extra point. So Texas A&M gets their huge win. This is their first big win of the season. Their first big win in years, to be honest with you. And Notre Dame is 0-2. Which is Personally, for me, fine by me. I can't stand Notre Dame. I can't stand their fan base. I can't stand their snobbery arrogance. So, it's kind of like the Dallas Cowboys for me. When they lose, I'm happy. When they win, I'm miserable. In regards to those teams. So, I'm a happy man when Notre Dame loses. I'm just wired that way. Illinois blows out Western Michigan. Vandy blows out South Carolina 31-7. Georgia Tech beat Clemson. They won on the last second field goal. Clemson, they're also a team that's easy to root against because Dabo is very whiny. And whiners, they become easy targets for wanting to see fail. So, yeah, Clemson, good job. You're 1-2. Georgia Tech looks like a dark horse ACC championship appearance. They look good. Iowa State barely beats Arkansas State. Ole Miss wins Arkansas 41-35. That game was another shootout. Alabama blows out Wisconsin. Utah beats Wyoming. Texas A&M blows out Oregon State. Michigan does what they have to do. Auburn and Missouri also do what they have to do, is beat lower classification schools. All right, so non-ranked teams that played in Week 3. NC State beat Wake Forest 34-24. NC State's 3-0. They look solid. Colorado loses to Houston 36-20. Colorado looks bad. Doesn't surprise me too much. Arizona beats Kansas State 23-17. Kansas State, a lot of people had them going to the Big 12 title game. That doesn't look like it's going to be happening anytime soon. They don't look good. UCLA falls to New Mexico 35-10. They just fired their head coach. Yeah, UCLA looks like a train wreck. USC beats Purdue 33-17. Let's see what we have. Any more matchups that were somewhat interesting? West Virginia beats Pitt 31-24. Anything else? Nothing? No other interesting game? Looks like that's all it. What other program fired their head coach? There were two coaches got fired. Oh yeah, Virginia Tech fired its head coach. They got destroyed by Old Dominion, and so they fired their head coach. All right, on to the NFL. The Thursday nighter, Packers and Commanders. This game wasn't all that competitive. The Packers dominated from the get-go. I know the score was only 27-18, but they straight up controlled this game. The defense was causing issues for the Commanders. Jordan Love was throwing dots. Tucker Kraft had one of the best games of his career. The Packers averaged 4.5 yards per rush. And just an easy win for Green Bay. As a Colts fan, the Colts beat the Broncos 29-28. Daniel Jones continues to play well. Jonathan Taylor had a big game. Tyler Warren and Alec Pierce were kind of your best receivers of the day. The defense did not play well. Bo Nix had its moments. J.K. Dobbins played well on the run, but a couple of big drives late for Indianapolis. A missed field goal by Denver. And then the final field goal attempt where the Colts were going to attempt a 60-yard field goal. As I'm plugging this. My nose has been running, by the way, so my nose picked the worst time to go running nuts while I'm in the middle of recording. So, excuse me a second. Anyways, so when Denver was kicking a 60-yarder, not Denver, Indianapolis. Wow, not my A game. So Schrader was kicking a 60-yard field goal. He misses badly, but one of the Broncos linemen gets called for leverage, which, why are you even trying to block a 60-yard field goal when you have a kicker who hasn't proved that he can make it to that distance? If it was Brennan Aubrey, fine. But why are you trying to block a 60-yard field goal? I don't get it. But it's a 15-yard penalty, so Schrader now gets to take a 45-yard field goal, which he made without a problem. So the Colts are 2-0 for the first time since 2009. 2009. And for all intents and purposes, just for the giggles of this, I want to put in some perspective of this. Let's take a look at what the number one song was. The number one song when the Colts were 2-0, the last time the Colts were 2-0 was I Got a Feeling by Black Eyed Peas. Yeah, paint yourself in that world of 2009. That was the last time the Colts were 2-0. Yeah, that's a long time. All right, next game. Bengals and Jaguars. This was a weird game. Joe Burrow gets KO'd early with a turf toe injury, which he's going to be out till at least late December. So, Bengals, it's Jake Browning time. And the Jaguars, man, Jaguars had some miscues, some drops, some the defense lapses. And then that fourth down drop by Brian Thomas. What is going on with Brian Thomas? He's done nothing. And it's even more frustrating that I have him. He's one of my fantasy teams, so that sucks. And also for Jaguars fans, this was a game that the Jaguars probably should have won, but they didn't. 31-27. So the Bengals accidentally are 2-0. Like they should be 0-2, but they've stumbled themselves to 2-0. They don't look great. Giants and Cowboys. God, this was a shootout. Russell Wilson plays his best game in years. We got the Giants can't stop Dak Prescott. And then the funny thing is, who was that? Who was that tackle that the Giants had? I gotta look this up. Who was this Giants tackle? He committed 4 penalties in one drive. Gets benched. Let's see. James Hudson, that guy. He was playing left tackle because Andrew Thomas is out. So he committed 4 penalties in one drive. And so he gets benched, and he just lost his mind. He was like screaming at Brian Dale. That was funny. Yeah, but when you commit 4 penalties in one drive, 2 unnecessary roughness penalties, by the way, you better expect to get benched. And for Dallas, Dak Prescott basically did a carry job. Javonte Williams actually had a pretty good day on the ground. The Giants, late in the fourth, scored a touchdown to make it 37-34. The Cowboys drive late because the Giants played, I don't know what kind of prevent defense they were playing, but they played mega prevent defense, sets up Brendan Aubrey, nails a 64-yard field goal without a problem. It's pretty like I remember a time when 60-yard field goals were a novelty. This is the second straight week where you saw a kicker nail a 60-yard without breaking sweat. And then the overtime, which takes forever. Both teams exchange punts. Then Dallas punts. Then Russell Wilson throws a pick. And then Dallas was able to win on the last second field goal. So the Cowboys barely won. The Giants, y'all trash. Y'all might need to fire your head coach and your GM. Your head coach has lost their luster. Your GM really isn't all that good. So, Giants, you're still terrible. Another team that's still terrible, the Bears. They got mauled by the Lions. They got absolutely crushed. 52-21. Jared Goff and the rest of that offense ran amok. Jared Goff threw for 5 touchdowns. Amon St. Brown caught 3 of them. Both St. Brown and Jameson Williams had 100 receiving yards. Jeremy Gibbs and David Montgomery ran without a problem. Caleb Williams hasn't improved all that much. And the Bears' offense didn't do great, but it also doesn't help when you give up 52 points. What happened to that defense? That defense looks bad in their first 2 games. Not good. And the Lions get a bounce-back win. The Bears, I had you going 9-8. What was I thinking? This does not look good for Chicago. Rams and Titans. The Rams won 33-19. Stafford played well. Devontae Adams had his first big games of Ram. But the big problem here is the Titans have nothing. I mean, Cam Ward made a couple great plays, but he's too basically getting sacked because the Titans have no offensive line. The Titans are just garbage. They're a trash team. And I fear that Cam Warren might get ruined over there. And they look bad. Now they have to face on the Colts. Good luck. Patriots Dolphins. This was a shootout where the Patriots went on top 33-27. Dolphins defense continues to be absolutely horrible. Miami's offense played decent, but it just wasn't enough. And y'all see Mike McDaniel's press conference? That looks like a dead man walking. Mike McDaniel might be the first head coach to get fired. And oh, by the way, they're facing the Bills on Thursday night, but they're going to get killed. Yeah, the Dolphins look bad. Like, they're done. 49ers barely edged the Saints 26-21. Mac Jones looked decent. And the Saints offense actually wasn't too bad. I mean, Spencer Rattler actually played a decent game, but decent was just not enough. And the Saints are predictably 0-2. The Bills mauled the Jets 30-10. This was not even a contest. The Jets looked terrible again. Seahawks and the Steelers. The Seahawks won 31-17. Seahawks offense just methodically moved down the field much in the game. The Steelers offense couldn't get going. And then you had the Caleb Johnson incident. It was on a kickoff. The ball kind of bounces off of Caleb Johnson. And when it's a kickoff, it's a live ball. Caleb Johnson doesn't even bother trying to chase for that ball. So the Seahawks fall on it. It's a touchdown. You're not going to see Caleb Johnson returning kicks anymore. Yeah, he was that third-round pick out of Iowa. I don't even know. Why would you have, put Calvin Austin out there to return kicks? Not Caleb Johnson. He's a running back. A true running back. He's not a hybrid. He should not be out there returning kicks. He's not Dion Lewis. Yeah, when that happens, you deserve to lose the game. Ravens completely destroyed the Browns 41-17. The only thing the Browns did anything positive is stuff Derrick Henry. That was it. That was it. They got beat down. Panthers and Cardinals. The Cardinals won 27-22. The Panthers tried to come back, but it was to no avail. Eagles beat the Chiefs 20-17. The Eagles basically this was a trash game in my opinion. The Chiefs offense just looks dead. And all the Eagles have to do is play methodical. And they did just that to win 20-17. Falcons beat the Vikings 22-6. J.J. McCarthy played terrible. He was sacked, I believe, 6 times. And the Falcons' running game just ate them up. And Falcons had a new kicker. So Younghoe Koo missed the potential game-tying field goal last week. So he gets benched. And so they put this new kicker, Parker Romo. He went 5 for 5. So he's pretty much going to be the Falcons kicker from this point on forward. Tampa Bay and Houston. Houston doesn't look good. Their offensive line's still trash. C.J. Stroud he looks off. The running game for Houston was decent, but not good enough. And Tampa Bay's offense rallied the clutch. And they're 2-0. And even though it wasn't the prettiest win for Tampa Bay, they got the win. And Baker got another final drive that resulted in a game-winning touchdown. And Houston, your defense looks decent. It's a pretty good defense, but that offense, if they don't start scoring, it could be a long season for Houston. I had them winning that division. All right, the second Monday night game, there was 2 Monday night games. Chargers and Raiders. The Chargers basically controlled this game all the way throughout. They won 20-9. Herbert played well. The running game wasn't all that great. Quentin Johnston and Keenan Allen, they've been pretty good. Keenan Allen, What an addition that was. And he's back. And he's back to being the Keenan Allen that we all knew. Geno Smith did not play great. The turnovers killed him. Threw 3 picks. It was just a game that the Chargers were in total control of all the way through. So those are your games of week 3 and week 2 of college football in the NFL, respectively. All right, let's get to college football's week 4. Let's preview some of the games. As an Oklahoma fan, they're taking on Auburn. Even though both teams are 3-0, it's at Norman. I think Oklahoma should be able to win this without too much of an issue. John Mateers is simply a better quarterback than Jackson Arnold. Oklahoma has a really good defense, and they're at home. This should be a win. Purdue and Notre Dame, even though Purdue competed against USC, they still lost by double digits. And I think Notre Dame's going to be hungry for this win. I think Notre Dame is going to not have much issue against Purdue. Won't be as bad as last year, but Notre Dame will still win, I think, rather easily. Texas Tech and Utah. Man, I'm torn on this one. I mean, these are two kind of underrated teams. And give me Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech will win that one. Oregon State and Oregon. I mean, it's a rivalry game for them, but Oregon's going to win. Tulane and Ole Miss. Maybe that could be a sneaky good game. I still have Ole Miss. South Carolina, Missouri. Missouri actually looks really good this year. They're a good football team. Florida, Miami's going to crush Florida. Florida's terrible. Can they fire Sunbelt Billy? Yeah, Billy Napier. Man, that was a mistake of a hire. Illinois and Indiana. Wow. I don't know who to pick on this one. It's at Bloomington, and Indiana is the favorite. Wow, that's a really good question. Give me Illinois. I think Illinois goes to Bloomington and wins in a close battle. Other interesting. Michigan State and USC. I think USC wins. Any non-top 25 matchup that can be somewhat interesting. Syracuse and Clemson. I'm not even going to be objective on this. Go Syracuse. I can't stand Clemson. Beat Clemson, please. What other game do we have? Ball State and UConn. UConn's going to win. Ball State sucks. West Virginia, Kansas. Give me Kansas. I think Kansas should win that game. Washington State. I'm going to say Washington. And nothing really interesting. All right. NFL's Week 3. Dolphins and Bills. Bills will destroy the Dolphins. It won't be a contest. Colts and Titans. I think Colts beat the Titans. The Titans are just not good. Packers will beat the Browns, of course. Bengals and Vikings. Wow, that game's going to be terrible. I think it's going to be another game where Cincinnati just accidentally wins. We know how that's going to go. Rams and Eagles. I think Eagles will win. I think it's going to be it's going to be pretty competitive, but I don't see an issue. Bucks and Jets. Bucks will destroy the Jets. It's the Jets. Texans and Jaguars. Wow, that game's going to be a clown show. Both teams that can't stop being themselves. Wow. I'm going to say the Jags. I think that the Texans' offensive line is going to continue to have issues, and I think the Jags will win. Broncos and Chargers. This could be a good game. I'm gonna have to go with the Chargers. Saints and Seahawks. Seahawks will win without a problem. Cowboys versus Bears. Wow. This game's gonna suck. I'm gonna say the Cowboys. I think Dak's gonna simply outplay Caleb Williams. Cardinals and 49ers. I'm gonna say the 49ers. And your Sunday nighter, Chiefs, Giants. Oh, this game's gonna be terrible. I'm about to say the Chiefs. I think they're gonna win their first game of the season. The Giants are just not good. And your Monday nighter, Lions and Baltimore. I'm gonna go with Baltimore because they're home. And I think they're going to be able to control the game a little bit more than Detroit does. Doesn't mean that Detroit's still a very good team. I just think Baltimore at home and in a Monday night, that's tough to beat. And the Ravens can beat you in so many. The Ravens can beat you in a slog. They can beat you in a shootout. They have many ways to beat you. And I think the Lions' offense will be a little bit more inconsistent this year. All right, let's get some baseball going. I'm not going to take too long to talk about baseball yet. Not really till we get to October baseball. Now, I think I've made this known plenty of times. I'm a Cubs fan. They actually did just clinch the playoffs today. So they're going to make it as a wild card because the Brewers are pretty much going to win that division. Phillies, they clinched the NL East. Dodgers and Padres, that's still a struggle bus. They're only a game and a half from each other. So the wild card races, Cubs have wild card pretty much literally locked up at this point. The second wild card is the Padres. Basically, the second wild card spot is going to be who does not win the NL West between the Dodgers and the Padres. The third wild card spot can be interesting. The Mets have that spot for now, but a few teams are gunning for that spot. If the Mets collapse, this will set up the Diamondbacks. Yes, they're still in the hunt, even though they sold at the deadline. The Giants and the Reds. So if the Mets falter, those three other teams can pounce and claim that final wild card spot. As for the AL, the AL is a little bit more of a ground bag. Toronto leads the AL East. They have that almost locked up at this point. Detroit, once again, has the AL Central almost locked up. The AL West, the Astros are leading it with a half a game as I'm recording this. And your wild card teams right now are the Yankees, Red Sox, and the Mariners. There's a couple other competitors. There are two other teams where if one of those three falter, the Guardians and the Rangers can pounce. If shall either New York, Boston, and Seattle falter. So that is your kind of your playoff race. And I'll give you a quick prediction of the MVPs. It's going to be Judge and Ohtani again. They're both going to win the AL and NL MVPs again because they're putting in superior numbers. Yes, Kyle Raleigh has 56 home runs, but Judge has dominated on every other statistic. And as for the NL, yes, Kyle Schwarber has like 53 homers, but Ohtani he has superior numbers. So that's it for this episode 2 of the 2025-26 kind of sports season. And that's going to be, I'll see you next week after these games, and I'll review them once that's all up. And thanks for watching.